to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Okay, you've approved the agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Jim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, first we have the, approval of the November 13 meeting minutes. Everybody have a chance to review those?
So move again?
Second.
Discussion? Jim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Approve the November 29th special meeting minutes. Everybody have a chance to review that?
Yes, did. I'll move again?
And second.
Discussion?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, the, October financials that were missed last month. Everybody have a chance to review those?
You bet.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Questions, comments? Tim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now the November financials. Everybody have a chance to review those?
It did. I would so move.
Second.
Discussion? Jim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Local permit, Washburn Lions Club. Chelsea, I'll leave that to you, I guess.
Yes, so they're just going to do, a couple different raffles. The dates here, they'll have two $50 ones, 217, 224, 32, 39, 316, and then they're gonna have a couple bigger ones on 323.
Okay, I see they have, 2023 list on these. I'm assuming it's 2024.
Oh, yeah. A little late to do them, and
A little late, yeah.
I'll have that adjusted on the one that goes to the state.
Okay.
Questions on that, anybody?
No.
I'll move to approve the, permit.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Jim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hawkins? Relocating and raising industrial drive. Colin, come on up.
Gentlemen, ladies, you two, Larry.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yeah. Actually talked to Adam, Larry, about this road. It's been a couple of years in the works. Just the way the drainage flows through there and the water, it's just always a mud hole right in that spot. With our budget coming up by December 30th, I approached the city to see if, we can do something there. Hawkins, I'm gonna go to them, and I'm willing to budget for half the cost of this project. Even though it's not our road.
City street, right?
Huh?
It's actually a city street.
It's a city street.
Yeah.
But, it does, benefit us too with, some of the drainage through there. This past summer with all the rain we had, with that water hole right outside our gate. Guess I'm not gonna point fingers, but there's residents in town that, you can put, we had to just had the city put up some barricades because they were driving out in the grass just to avoid that, and it's actually, muddier there than it is on the road. But,
Right.
so, I guess that's what we're looking to do is just, come to the city, and if you're okay with, straightening that road out. Right now it's got a little curve to it.
There's more of a color picture if you guys want to see it.
And then raise that road up and then put a couple culverts in. We looked at some other options, trying to do it, but with all the fiber optics, all the utilities going right through there, it's kind of a bugger.
So does the drain field go toward the river or back around the railroad tracks?
The drain.
Go toward the highway.
It'll
It'll go toward the highway, but
Yep,
then
it'll go
I mean, it'll go towards 200A, but then is that gonna be the drain field for it, or does it?
Well, it actually goes, I think, underneath the approach and it eventually works its way down. to
Okay,
Eventually,
the River, yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So just a little history on that, you know, originally Hawkins did donate that area to the city for that road. And that was so that, you know, cause they used to come in, they used to go in past the body shop and come up and around,
Yep,
you know, and I mean, all the trucks and everything, it was definitely, hard on our road.
Right. One back then too, that baseball field wasn't as used heavily as it is now.
right,
I mean, also it made, you know, sense back then to divert the truck traffic off at 200 rather than coming through town, off Main and
right.
chewing up the roads there.
Yep.
You know, with kids, so. But yeah, and that other drawing, I think you got it, where the city is, that I think was the initial.
That was the
Hawkins
Hawkins
Avenue.
Avenue, that
Yeah.
rectangle, you know. And then that other white part is the land that they deeded over to us.
Just southeast here?
Yes,
Okay, so that's
Hawkins
actually,
and the other ones, yeah,
Yep.
what they deeded over.
okay,
And then, so talking with Chris Tresvik, you know, he, you know, we're talking about moving the road over, you know, adding, some height to it, culverts, drainage, you know. He said you should be able to do it well under $40,000. I know it's a pretty well-used road,
right.
Right. Yep.
and really, you know, I mean, if they're willing to pay half, which is,
Well, if somebody's willing to pay for half of the street, it's, yeah.
Right.
Works
Yeah,
good
so
for, works good for both entities.
Comes out to 30, you know, we pay half. If it's 40, we pay half, you know, whatever, it's, you know. So, yeah, usually, you know. And do that, just to.
and this is a preliminary drawing, okay? This isn't, may not be exactly what it's going to be, but it's very close to this, you know?
It's just that the timeframe is you need to get it into your budget area.
Well, my
budgetary
budget, I've gotta have the information by the end of December, when it's actually gonna get put in.
Right.
I probably, based on my last year's budget, I probably got into January.
Yep.
So I mean, if it's, you know, whatever, you know, I decide tonight or, you know, no later than,
Right.
I would just have to know that. you know.
Right.
Um,
No, I think it's a good partnership too.
I believe it is.
Yeah. So, well, I would move that the city would pay half of the repair of this Hawkins, is it Hawkins Avenue?
It's industrial.
Industrial drive on a 50-50 share, not to exceed 40,000.
I second.
Okay, further discussion? Tim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, very good, thank you, Colin.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We'll just keep informed on that.
Yeah.
Good. I have my picture back, please. Well, whatever, hang on to it for your files.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Colin.
I sure wish I was on the commission, just wanted to say that out there, but you know, there's no time.
Thank you. Go away.
I don't believe you.
Senior Center. Come on up.
We're, unless you wanna tell them what we're asking for.
Feel free.
We're kinda looking for, $2,000 a year for the next 3 years. You've been very gracious in giving us that for 6 years now, I believe, about the same amount of money. Our expenses, last year, and it's mostly for utilities, it's all for utilities and insurance. And last year it was $3,000, and I presume as everything goes. But we do have a little other income, we get, $600 from the Lions for using our building. And we also get a grant from, I guess it'd be Rainbow Energy now.
Yeah.
How much is that, Fran?
I think it's about $1,000 if I'm correct. I tried to get some better figures, and Carol, our treasurer, has been having three bad weeks, with her husband and stuff. We thank you for what you have done for us, and as you probably noticed, we've, put a new roof, I shouldn't say we, through contributions, we have put a new roof on the building, new windows, new doors, redone the inside, brought it up to date, looking, and, our group has increased in the last few months. I presume we're looking at, we have 35 members now there, give or take rough figures. And it, we feel it provides a good service for the older people in Washburn here, and, that's, I don't know what else I can say.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you guys incorporated in a nonprofit?
Yes,
You are?
yes.
Okay. So, you know, I wanted to make sure we did this right. First of all, I want you to know that I really support the senior center, but I did look up some Century Code stuff.
Yes.
It says, you know, 40-0516, programs and activities for senior citizens, expenditure of funds. You know, the governing body of a city is authorized to establish and maintain programs and activities for senior citizens, including expansion, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the governing body is authorized to expend funds received from state, federal, or private sources for the purpose of providing for in this section. No expenditure authorized by this section shall be made to defray any expenses in an organization or agency until such organization or agency is incorporated under the laws of North Dakota as a nonprofit. And then it says, and has, you know, contract with the governing body in regard to the matter in which the funds will be expelled and the services to be provided. An organization or agency and its program which receives such funds shall be received or approved annually by the governing body to determine its eligibility to receive these funds under the provisions of this section. So, with that said, and you are a nonprofit, which is good. So where we're gonna actually get the funding from is a question. I did look up, you know, 1 cent sales tax is a little different. Because the last time that this was done, it was out of the economic development portion is, you know, where it came out of the sales and use tax. So if you look at, you know, in 21, when we changed the sales and use, it says, you know, funds collected from the 2% sales tax shall be dispersed according to the following. Okay, 90% of 1 cent for community development, infrastructure, and capital expenditures. The funds may be used for the purchase of, construction, operation, and maintenance of the Washburn area capital improvements, including but not limited to streets, water, sewer, public safety, park system, and other projects which are deemed important for the betterment of the community. 10% of 1 cent to the group Washburn Life for community and economic development projects enhancing the general welfare of the Washburn area, including but not limited to business and commerce expansion, retention, and other projects in and outside the city limits, which will enhance the growth, maintenance, and development of the community in Washburn. And then 100% of 1 cent is solely for the construction of, you know, streets, sewer, and water. So I'm really wondering if.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
So that column, that economic community development, had a balance in there prior to us changing the home rule charter, where that 10% of 1 cent went to Washburn Life.
Okay.
So if there was money in there prior to that, we could still use that for things like this, correct? But then once that prior balance is gone, I mean, then our hands are tied for that economic development per se.
Do you know how much is in there?
I want to say there was also roughly like 50,000, and I know 35 of that will go to the golf course in January,
Okay.
because that was already earmarked
And that's the last
for
payment
that.
for them, correct?
And that's the last payment for them, yes.
Okay.
but there'll be money in there, cause then this one column on the spreadsheet that you can see
Yeah.
that in there. Cause what's going into that economic group now is more or less being paid back out. But there was still money in there prior to us changing that home rule charter. So I think it would still classify to fall under that economic.
I think you're right.
The remaining funds,
Yeah.
Yes,
is there 6,000
Yeah.
in there?
yes,
There is,
Yes.
okay.
But my understanding from what you read is we can only do 1 year at a time.
Okay, that wouldn't necessarily be from economic development. That would be if we do it from our general fund or
Oh,
whatever.
Okay.
You know, that's what that, entails is, it'd be more or less a budget thing, you know, and it's for, state, federal, or private sectors, you know, so, yeah. But then, you know, then that's why we that's why we have economic development in the 1 cent sales taxes for different things like this, so.
Mhm.
And, that's the way I see it anyway. But that's the way it was before.
So if we have the funding in there, you know, we could do the whole 3-year commitment out of that fund,
I would think we could.
right? So, and you're positive the funds are in there,
I'm positive.
okay,
We could even do 5 years. I mean,
so,
let's see, 5 times. Yeah, and then we'd be pretty close to running out of that fund.
And the fund could be just done, that would be confusing because it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like anything's going back in there.
Yeah. I think that would work. I don't know why it wouldn't.
and there's sufficient funds there for 5 years, is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Okay,
There should be.
okay, that would give you 5 instead of 3.
So would that be, are we looking at like an annual payment to that, or
Well, or would you
I
rather,
think the last time they
I think you got it all?
gave it all in one lump sum. and-
the only thing I'm wondering, would you rather, extinguish that fund versus doing it over 5 years and having it laying on the books for 5 years? Does that make any
Oh, I
difference
see
to
what you're
Chelsea?
saying. Yeah.
Is that a column that you would like to, you know, get rid of, for lack of better words? Cause that would determine whether we make a commitment for 5 years at 2 apiece.
It really doesn't matter,
Okay.
cause it's easy just to keep track of that separate too.
The thing is, if they get it all at once, they get a little interest, you know, and stuff.
Yeah.
It all helps.
Okay,
Yeah, I would think we could do that.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. So I would move that we would take, you know what fund it is, cause I don't know how to classify it, that we would make a 5-year commitment in a lump sum of $10,000 out of whatever that fund is.
Right.
To the, senior center, so.
Okay,
Second.
further discussion? I think this is a good solution, I really do. Tim?
Yes, yes.
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 Thank you.
You betcha.
Yeah.
I was gonna also mention that, of all the donations that we have received, it's all gone back into the building,
Oh,
not,
absolutely, yeah.
not to use for.
And we realize
Yeah,
that, you know.
and
Yeah.
it's, been amazing how much money could be generated if a person works at it a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good evening.
Yeah,
You too.
very good. What do we got here? So abuse tax request, fire department, Clayton?
No, you're fine.
Dual start started out, actually, I think a couple of years ago, that's the budget deal. And last December 31st, I signed the contract for this work. And we found out, about middle of last month, that Ford has released a VIN code for it, which means they're starting to actually build the chassis. Don't know when it's gonna be done, but usually that, what they tell me, that's a month or two, and then they say about another month, about building back into it. So we're looking at probably a couple months, that I could get a phone call one morning, and they say, truck's on its way.
Right.
So, my idea was to at least get approved, and the truck is approximately $160,000, rural fire protection district has put forward $80,000 towards it. And I'm asking the city to, out of the, sales and use tax, to give us $60,000. Don't need the money yet, just want to have it approved so that when that truck is on its way, we can get the funds.
Okay, so you've said that you've been looking at this for a couple of years, is that right? Or,
Yeah, it takes so long to get one of these things that we, started talking about it a couple of years ago.
I remember you coming to one of my first meetings,
yeah,
And we signed the contract for it last year in December because it saved us about $20,000. If we'd waited till the next day, it would have cost us $20,000.
seems to me I remember something about that.
Well, that, and then also some with our budget too, where we're doing like 10,000 for a truck for like a couple of years.
Correct.
If I remember
Yep.
correctly, yeah.
Yep.
So, so we did a little research, so in our truck fund, or for equipment for you guys, I think 22 and 23, there was 10,000 each year, and then for 24, we have another 10,000 budgeted.
Correct.
So there would be like 30,000 there. I do have one question on your financial sheets here. What was the, in November 15, what was the $44,000 for?
That was a pickup to replace the unit that I drive. We actually had a donation, from a gentleman, his estate for 50,000, and that's what's paying for that. It was a guy that was on the Fire Protection District Rural Board for many years. Yeah, when he passed away, it was in his will to give us those funds. So that's what that 44,000 was for.
Can I ask when you got the 50,000? A long time ago, or?
Sometime this spring.
Okay, I guess I don't see it in your thing here as a credit, but,
Probably is not.
oh, well, it
It
only
only
starts
was-
at 7/31,
yeah,
so, okay.
It would have been before then.
Yeah, okay, I'm just curious, I just wanna make sure I got it straight.
And there was just a little bit of info. First of this year, we had like 210,000 in the checking account. In June, I think it's before this started, we wrote out 133,000 in check for the new radios.
Ouch. So anyway, right now you're sitting on about 85,000, it looks like.
Yep.
And we don't want you to go bankrupt, I mean, that's a bad thing. I guess my thought is, we take the 3 years of the truck, we're putting in for the trucks, 22 through 24, and then another 30 from sales and use. That'd be my thought on the deal. What does anybody else think?
Well, that's what the fund was set aside for, was purchasing a truck, so.
Yeah.
I think some of it should be used toward the purchase of the truck anyway. Yeah.
Other thoughts, guys? Aren't you two on fire and,
Right, I mean, what did you say though? What was 22 and 40? So 62? Or what was your suggestion?
no,
I guess?
from 22 to 24, 10,000
Oh, okay.
each year.
Sorry, I missed that.
And then
I
we
think
get
you
30,000,
got
and then
20,000.
30,000 from sales and use.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. We knew this was coming. He's approached multiple times. It's a much needed service. They do a great job. You know what I mean? We have the financial records, everything looks clean, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing, I see no issue with this, for sure. I did think it'd be a benefit to the community.
I do have a quick question. Where are you gonna store all this stuff?
The one truck that's sitting across the street right now is gonna go up on my property, time being. The one truck that's sitting up there is the one we're gonna get rid of, that 3/4 ton pickup, it's got a slide-in unit,
Yeah, I was gonna say, 'cause there's a truck sitting outside already, so, yeah.
that was gonna go. Put it out on bids or whatever.
Yeah.
Same with the one that I'm driving right now,
Okay. What year is that one you're driving now?
10.
You forgot the plan for the green truck.
What's that?
You forgot the plan for the green truck. Yeah,
Green?
we're gonna park that out front, and we're gonna decorate it with all Christmas lights.
Oh,
We're gonna-
motion.
And we're gonna put Santa in there.
Like for the whole winter?
That'll be down the road when we decide to get rid of the green truck.
Maybe get one of the pedestal things, we can put it up in there.
There you go.
Be a big pedestal.
62,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen semis up on them before,
Yeah, tell them, didn't
Yeah.
I will make the motion, that we do, we commit the 3 years of $10,000 and then 30,000 from building use.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Jim?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
thanks Clayton.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Clayton.
Hope that works for you.
Definitely.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's it. Wow. And how much does that hold?
About 500,
600 gallons.
or 500, I think, 400 or 500.
Very nice.
We had to have redesign it a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah,
Maybe Chelsea wants to copy that for her files, I don't know. When you're, later, whenever.
I don't know, but I need it.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Clayton. All right, we have, 7 liquor licenses. Chelsea, have you guys reviewed all of these?
We have looked through them and all taxes are current.
And I guess I have read through them twice, and then like she said, the taxes are correct. And so I would move that we approve them all in one motion. So I would move that we would approve the liquor license for American Legion, Brent Arlo Enterprises, Captain's Cabin, Interbase, the Riverboat Saloon, Super Pumper, and Dakota Farms.
Second.
Discussion? Jim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Joint powers agreement, election, agreement with McLean County. This is what we do every year, right, Chelsea?
Yes, every year there is
Or
an
every 2 years?
election, every 2 years, yep. McLean County heads up our election. They pick out the polling places, they set it up, they get all the workers, and then they just bill the cities for their portion of what they do. And then they count the ballots and give us the results. They do everything, so
No brainer.
the election part of it.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Jim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Now we got, okay, court services contract. Chelsea, when you're ready.
So I got them, okay, so this contract just came in on Friday. And I looked at it, and then Beth had actually sent out an email too, that I included in there just with a little more description on it. And Tim did actually go up and talk to her. The reason why this is coming out is not something that we have to do, but some of these smaller towns are having an issue even getting a municipal judge, or their judge isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So they have approached McLean County on what they can do to have this settled, or how, with everything that's the municipal fines that are going into them. So with that, Beth reached out to a couple different people, and they did talk. Some of them would like to see it done, like including the deputies, to have everything all in one system. But it is not necessarily something that we have to sign into if we don't want to eliminate the municipal judge out of our city.
Right. So when I visited with Beth today, and then I visited with Steve Lee, County Commissioner. First of all, I think we meet the 8th
Yes.
of January.
Yes.
Yeah. And Beth said that would be plenty of time. We don't have to act on it tonight. I tried to give David Lindell a call, but he was booked through the day. So he will call me probably on Wednesday. I'd just like to get his take on it. Personally, I need more time to do some research on this. I just didn't have enough time today, and I couldn't get a hold of, I tried to get a hold of Lab 2, couldn't get a hold of him. Just trying to get, I did visit with the deputy too, just trying to get a take. Also visited with Lauren Hunzy, our current municipal judge. So for me, I just need to do some more research on this. So I'm not ready to make a decision, and being how Beth gave us, a grace period, we have no problem doing it in January, so.
I really think, just, it came on Friday, so yeah,
Yeah.
I think we need to really research more into it.
Yep.
So we'll just, put it on hold until.
Yep.
Yeah, she
for
just-
next meeting.
Wanted to get it out for those that have their judge up for election in 24, so that it doesn't, they don't go out and get the signatures starting the 1st for petitions and stuff like that. But
Right, yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're good to do it next month.
Okay,
Give us
great.
time to research it.
Yep. Okay. Second reading ordinance 159?
79.
Or 79. So 159.
I know, it's 179.
Okay. I would move that we would waive the second reading of this because there were no changes or corrections, and that we approve it as printed and read the first time, so if we can do. Unless you want to do another reading.
I can if you really want me to, but
So,
I second your motion.
okay.
Further discussion?
Nope.
No, Tim?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Ready, Chelsea?
I'm ready.
NRG contract?
So our 2024 contract was presented. That is our IT, who has our backup server and helps with all our IT issues.
They've been really good in the past, we're lucky we had them
They have
several
been,
years back.
Yeah.
We would have been screwed.
and they're usually pretty quick to respond. And when I've had to work from home, they'll call and remote in from my laptop and get it up if there's something not connecting right there, so that I can work.
This is a yearly contract, correct?
It is, yes.
Okay, yeah.
And it's not much different from what our 2023 contract was, so.
I will move to approve the NRG contract for this coming year
I will second that.
for $673. Okay, discussion?
I guess just one question.
Yes.
These are the people that like just replaced the laptop that got damaged or whatever? Wasn't there like water or something that came from the ceiling and that kind of messed with the computer?
Yeah, we didn't really have to switch those out. Thankfully, they did still work, but that's who my new computer just came from. And then we sometimes flip-flop those out. Well, like Lauren usually got one that after we got a new one, then he got an older one. But his actually is newer than my old one, so he didn't get that one, but they help with all that kind of stuff. And they can remote in and do whatever they need to do in the back
I
end.
was
So.
gonna say it's a pretty good deal for that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
For sure.
Okay. Any other discussion? Tim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yours has already been approved, Mac.
I've been approved.
You've been
Yep.
approved.
Very good. Do I have a number then? You can give it to me tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, it'll have tomorrow.
Very good.
Yep.
I will
All righty.
wait for it.
Okay.
You bet.
Yep.
Thank you.
You
You
bet.
betcha, no
Hey, Mac.
problem. 2024 commission meeting date.
Commission meeting dates for 24 are all the second Monday of the month still, except for November. It is November 12th, which is a Tuesday, because November 11th is Veterans Day and a holiday. Otherwise, they are all the second Monday.
I don't know if we can change it, it's already circled.
Huh?
It's already circled on there, I don't know if we can change it.
Oh. You want to change it to the first Monday?
No.
Okay.
There's something else you wanted to add into there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The time. Do you want to move it up to 6? Keep it at 6:30.
I like sooner the better.
Yeah.
Chelsea did some, research. There are other towns that do it at 6. There's some that do it at 5. I think that'd be a little bit too early.
Yeah.
I would like to move them up to 6.
Yeah, 6 would be great.
For sure. I think that would.
Okay.
Jamie, would that work for you?
Yeah, I can make it work.
Okay. All right, so I will move, we accept the 2024 commission meeting dates for 6:00 PM.
Okay.
Second. Who seconded?
Me.
Okay. Just a little discussion, if there's ever a special meeting, then we would discuss the time,
Right. Set a
But this
time.
doesn't include special meetings, just the regular ones.
Mhm.
Okay. Tim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, employee reviews, raises. That'll be a key.
Yeah, so here we have the proposed increases for the Washburn City employees. How we calculated the COLA was basically added everyone's wages together, found a median wage, just an average wage, and then did 3% from there. The rationale behind that is that it costs everyone the same to get a gallon of milk, so it'd be kind of a same sort of raise situation, because then you can kind of, it helps, not have too much of a big gap and that sort of stuff, so. Which then brought us to proposed wage, which you can see in the third column there. And then a possibility of a 3% merit increase. So that's based upon where we've been doing, monthly meetings with HR. And through that, they actually give us a sheet and just how everyone's kind of doing, and then those get factored into an annual review. So there's actually a lot of review and that sort of stuff that's been going on, a lot more than in the past at least. And then depending upon that score they got on the review is how much of the 3% merit increase they'll get. So like, let's say if they got 55 out of 55 points, they'll get the whole 3%. But if they only got half that, then they would only get 1.5% merit increase. So it actually gives weight and anchor to the reviews and that sort of system that we're doing throughout the year. As much as a pointless exercise, but then it also, basically what it shakes down to is like good performance and behavior and that sort of stuff has been rewarded because it's being evaluated. So that's kind of where we got to, was the COLA and then a possible 3% merit increase.
Then also, I might add, I like the monthly meetings that Keith and I had, because we meet with Chelsea and Adam. But when we would work with employees and we would see the improvement where they would take it serious and made improvements over the year, it was, like Keith said, so that and then when they're evaluated at the end of the year, then they're rewarded for that improvement that they've made. So the monthly meetings have been really, really helpful, between the four of us. So. I think the COLA was 3.2.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yep.
Which we took off of the national average, I think, of the Social Security. Yeah, which a lot of places do. So, yeah.
I like it.
So, to get it on the table, I would move that we would approve these raises for 24 as presented by Commissioner Happett.
Discussion?
Tim? Yes.
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 Yes. Eric, on up.
All right.
HOS update?
Just 2 seconds, I will let him.
All right.
What did you say, Chris? I'm sorry.
I had to make sure it was Keith that seconded it, sorry.
Oh, okay.
You guys got the update here, just to roll through that. The 2023 project is substantially complete. Just need to do seeding restoration, next spring, which I think we talked about already. So, warranty work, final inspection, and final payment will happen then. Just one thing I wanted to point out, that project walk around with Larry the other day, and there's some cracking that we've noticed on Jennifer Drive. So that's something that we'll just keep monitoring and see how that turns out in the spring. If there needs to be some warranty work done, we'll make sure we keep an eye on that. And I would ask you guys, if you talk to anybody in town or if you yourselves are up on the project, if you guys see anything, just let us know so we can get that addressed next year.
Okay.
Wastewater lagoon upgrade. So recommendations for that. I know we presented a tech memo draft. I don't have the final draft for you, but I'll plan to get that to you by next month. But
sure.
The recommendations for that, we talked about a few things last meeting, but we want to do a maintenance package or maintenance work on that grinder manhole to make sure we can get that thing up and running again and it's working properly. Recommend that we dredge the lagoon using the same type of method that we did last time. We had the secondary cell that we used to deposit the dredging that we had.
Excuse me, the last time, did you dredge all the way to the bottom? You didn't, right? No, which I think we need to do, right?
I think we should. I wasn't around when that happened, I guess, but I don't know what the scope was. Yeah, you guys probably just hired somebody.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, that's what I finish. Yeah. wondering, you know, with, I don't know if there's any regulations that go along with that, and if we're just gonna move it over to the, you know, the empty pond there for drying.
Mhm.
Like someone like with Chris or someone with this big long traco that could reach in there, is there any regulations where anybody with a traco and an excavator can just move it over, or is there some type of state regulations, you know?
Well, I would recommend that you get somebody that has some experience doing dredging work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I not knowing the history of that lagoon, as far as like, what kind of, barrier seal is
Oh,
installed.
okay.
That's why I wouldn't have anyone
Someone that-
go with
okay.
an excavator and dig into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the recommendation would be to have someone, and we can reach out for quotes of people that we know, and I know Adam's aware of a few, or, you know, and for sure the last person that came and did it. But that would be the most cost-effective way of doing it. I know that there, you know, you can haul that off, but that's just another extra cost.
Right.
We have a secondary cell that we don't use right now anyways. It's
Yep.
a good way to get it.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was a barrier that you had to worry about under there.
Well,
Sometimes
there
it's
should be.
bentonite, cell,
Okay.
and sometimes, who knows what's under there?
Sometimes they have like a poly or PVC liner, and sometimes it's a clay liner, so, yeah.
Okay.
And then there was a couple different aerator options. The recommendation would be go with the water moving aerator, that's the newer type of aerator. I do have a copy of the draft tech memo, but, you guys don't have to make any decisions obviously right now, but that's something that we would recommend. You could just go with the one you have, again, and just let that one keep going, but I know that the ragging has been an issue with it, so, but that would be a good option that wasn't as expensive, to install to keep that water moving a little bit, and it would be something that doesn't get caught up with the ragging when we have extra materials get in there, so.
And I would really think that if it was dredged, that's gonna solve a lot of that, I would think.
Yeah.
Because, but, yeah, I mean, we have to look at everything, so, absolutely.
And I know that you know, we didn't really like the options with the, screens. It would be nice to have a screen. It seems like it would be kind of a maintenance nightmare, and they were rather expensive.
Yeah.
Either option was, and it would cause almost another daily maintenance task for the staff. So not saying that you guys can't do that you certainly can if you want to, but that wasn't something that we were recommending at this point in time. So, we'll get that tech memo finalized and sent to you guys. I just wanted to let you know what we were looking at recommending. That tech memo, the final tech memo will have like an updated cost in there too for what we're recommending. But you guys will have a chance to ask questions about
Yep.
all that too. PRV replacement, so we're working on the concept design and cost estimate for that. That, I will expect that to be to you guys in January.
Okay.
So we can start making some decisions or some planning on that, so I apologize, I don't have anything for you right now, but, still working on that.
Sorry.
The other thing I have for you guys is the, Chelsea and or Adam had applied for the lead and copper revision rule technical assistance funding from the North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality. Funding has been allocated to Washburn. They asked AE2S to provide a work order for that category A assistance, which we did, and we're waiting for them to reply to our work order, that we put together for them. And once it's approved, we can start doing that, helping you guys with that. So that's good news. So we, you know, the DEQ is at a point where they're about running out of funds. Washburn was in the group of 150 to 170 out of about 190 total public water systems. So they got through darn near everybody with their initial funding. More background on that is the DEQ has already applied to the federal government for additional funding for lead and copper rule work that needs to be done. So this is good, and hopefully they get through all of them, like I said. I would hope that we receive that work order back from them in the next week or two. Usually it doesn't take that long, but it's been seems like a lengthy process so far to get this, but it is good news. So category A assistance is what we're gonna do is historical records review and digitization of records that are relevant to the public water systems services, lead and copper, what type of water services you guys have. Perform customer survey and public engagement, develop sample site plan and service line inventory updates, data entry, and a deliverable. So the state is requiring each public water systems to show proof of what each water service line is. So the point of the survey that we're gonna be sending out is to gather that data. It'll be sent to, kind of getting ahead of myself because we don't have the work order back yet, but I am expecting it. But we would send a survey out to try to get that information from each resident. We're not doing site visits. We're not going into homes. The survey will have a QR code that we're hoping that most residents, and this is how we've been handling all of our public water systems that we've been assisting with this, they will be able to submit their survey with their smart device, smartphone or tablet. I realize that not everyone has a smartphone or tablet, so that'll be something that we work on helping as best we can, setting people up for success on that. But that survey they'll be able to submit a photo of their water meter, and show what kind of material they have coming into their home.
Okay.
Because that's something that, like, again, the state's requiring of us, because the EPA is requiring of the state.
That's really the only way you can tell, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless you dig it up.
Yeah.
So which we want to avoid.
Yeah.
But that would come later on down the road, because at the end of the day, the EPA is requiring that 100% of all public water systems, water service lines are inspected, and we know what they are. So
What's the deadline for getting all this done?
yeah, so category A, B, C, and D deadline is October 16th of 2024. So the goal is to get everybody in the state's category A done, and then what we don't get done, we're going to develop. So part of that last bullet I have in there, service line inventory updates and deliverable. The state's requiring a specific spreadsheet that's going to say, here's the city of Washburn and all of their water service lines, and we'll have on there what they're all classified as. So it's a complete listing of lead service line inventory, I guess is what you call it, or water service line inventory. So then we use that, and that's how we start tracking the replacement. One of the updates you guys might have seen that came out in an article recently was that the Biden administration has put in a 10-year schedule on replacing all lead service lines in the country, which seems like a pretty tall task, I would say. So that this is something that's going to help us get after that and accomplish that goal. But we're going to do the best we can to get it. So the other things is category B assistance. That would be on-site investigations. That's to be determined when we're going to get that done, depending on state funding and what we can do to help you guys. Category C is the preparation of lead service line replacement plan that complies with the elements of the LCRR. And category D is basically a facility plan to help to start the replacement of those lead service lines. Now, what I can say, and Adam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we know that there's minimal lead service lines in Washburn that we've been tracking, so that's good. The other good news is we have the GIS, which will significantly help us track water services and set up this reporting that we need to do for the state. So I feel pretty good about. I'm glad that we're assisting you guys with this, because we are familiar with Washburn and we have the GIS, and it will be able to get this accomplished fairly quickly. The other thing is, you guys, there's no contract between A2S and the city for this assistance. This is all directly between the contracts between A2S and the state, between the DEQ. So you guys won't see a bill or nothing like that for this work. This is something that we're gonna, like I said, work on for you, but we're gonna be keeping you guys apprised of everything that we learn. So
A question, so when it comes to actually replacing lines, is that covered by the feds? Is that covered by the city? Is that covered by the state?
What I'm expecting for that is that the federal government continues to roll out funding for this, that the states all get. And like what I was saying earlier, the state's already applied for that second round of funding, because they've almost used up all of their funding that they initially got. on the category A systems, which is, I'm glad they pretty much got through all the public water systems that have applied for it. So I expect that they'll get more funding, and then that'll be used for those category B, C, and Ds that I've been talking about. So I would think that, and right now the state does have funding for, lead service line replacements.
Okay.
This is something I should have Abby here for. I quote what the actual numbers are. There's a pot of money they have, and for lead lines, I want to say there was like a 66% grant on that loan.
Okay.
So it's pretty good funding for it if there's public water systems that want to start doing those projects. So if we're minimal on the amount of lead lines that we have, then that shouldn't be a high amount anyways. So, but yeah, we'll keep track of all the funding that we can for you guys to try to make sure we can get the requirements accomplished, that the federal government requirements accomplished at little cost or no cost to the city if we can. So.
Are you seeing a good response from residents that are receiving this letter?
Yeah, so typically for surveys, you get like a 10 to 20% response rate. I'll say like in the city, so we're assisting the city of Bismarck as well. We just got that one, which is obviously they have quite a few more residents, but they did their own internal survey last year, and they got about 50 to 60% response rate. So that's like, when they told me that, I'm like, well, that's awesome. Because if we can do that on the first round, that's gonna make it much easier on our staff and on the city staff. That would be, because what we've done on that survey too, by the way, to kind of preview what we're gonna try to set up for you guys in the same way, is we'll have our own phone number on there that they will be able to call, and we'll be able to walk through that survey with them, because we know that they're always gonna call you.
Okay.
And they're probably gonna catch Adam on the street and be like, what's the survey? You know, so, and we were totally expecting that. And, you know, so they're probably gonna call you guys too, but we have our number, and we have staff that's gonna be like available to, and I'll be one of them, but in our team will be able to answer those calls and walk through that survey with them. Cause it's like, it's not too many questions, and then they gotta snap a picture. Like, that's it. And I know that, like I said, not everyone has a smartphone or a tablet, and not everyone's really good at using them. The things that we are going to encourage to try to get a positive feedback on that survey, or as many people that respond to that survey, is we'll do like an advertising campaign. We'll set up materials for you to put on your website and on the Facebook page, so that people know that this is a legitimate survey they're getting, not just something like junk mail. And then, you know, the other thing is I would push it through you guys, because I know that you're all involved with the community, to make sure you're talking to people about it, that, hey, we got this lead and copper revision rule, and we have a survey that's coming out, please respond to this survey, and we'll try to get it all knocked out. But
I would also think that, I mean, if you know, somebody needs help, one of our people can go help them. I mean, absolutely, you know, so.
You know,
And let's face it, there's a few older people in town that, I mean, you know, they really would have a hard time with that, I would think.
Yeah.
Probably some young people.
Well, even getting down, if you're getting downstairs to their, you know, not everyone goes up and downstairs, so that's another thing to you know, that we would consider it. And that's been a common response that we've gotten as a concern. So, but you know, you gotta start somewhere, and I'm hoping that we can get a lot of it from that. But all of this stuff I can talk more about when we actually do a kickoff meeting. I didn't want to get too much into detail on it for you guys, but I did want to tell you that, you know, we got the funding, and that we're gonna be the ones helping you, which is good.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Thanks, Eric.
Any other questions for Eric?
Thanks, guys.
You bet, thank you. Portfolio, Tim, I just had a couple of things. Clay from Otter Tail talked to me, and there was 8 streetlights that they either replaced or repaired, so they're up and running. Then he talked a little bit about the notification process. He said Otter Tail has an 800 number you can call, and they do a work order, whatever. Or he said what a lot of our cities do. He said if it's okay with your city hall, the simplest method is to call City Hall, and then they would just notify Clay. And I visited with Chelsea and Eric, and they didn't have a problem with that, because it's not a big burden thing. The GIS at the Riverside Park and ballpark around the water treatment plant has been corrected, so that all is registered as park board property. the quick deeds for the 2 pieces of property behind here are registered at the courthouse, so they will be showing up probably on the next GIS update, which is usually 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So that, will be taken care of then, so.
Very good. Thank you for all your work.
Yep.
Is that it?
Oh, one more thing. Over the last year, I've had and this has nothing to do with the city, just throw it out there. I've had several old businessmen that I did business with and others that have kind of shot around the idea of just putting together a kind of a group that would either mentor younger businessmen, help with IT, you know, just kind of I know we had that before of a group that just got together and shot questions off of each other. So I had another guy talk to me today about it, in fact, wondering if it was going anywhere. It has nothing to do with the city, it's just to get the word out there that,
Sure.
yeah, so that's about a half a dozen
It's a good
eight
idea.
guys have talked to me already about it, so something in the future. Like I said, wouldn't have anything to do, you know, really with the city, but just out there to support each other in business. So,
That
and
sounds like a
coming
good
from a
idea.
retired guy too, so yeah.
Jay?
No, just, sounds like the 4 guys are gonna be back over at the Memorial Building tomorrow. Sounds like.
Okay.
Did they, I knew they were coming back this week, did they say how many, is it 1 day or 2 days that they needed, do you know?
I don't. I
Okay,
believe
it's not a
Chris
big deal.
Said they were coming Tuesday, so I'm not sure how long they're gonna be here.
Okay. I'm not sure how long that one was gonna take them, I was just curious.
All my stuff is in the meeting. Talked about the fire truck and the raised it.
All right, I have nothing. Chelsea?
Okay, it's December, so, the end of the year, all cat and dog licenses do expire. They're only good for 1 year. We just need a copy of your current rabies shots, and they are $5 per animal. I know some of them that have came in already or just moved to town for the end of the year, we did give them 24, but just general note, yeah, they
Right.
expire. They're only good for 1 year and they expire at the end of the year. And I do believe that Washburn Life is still planning to do their dog park event in January.
Okay.
I don't have much more information on that. I just know that it was mentioned that they're still looking at doing that.
Okay.
To go along with Jamie, the gym floor, they're coming back to finish the trim this week and should be done. We're looking at opening up the Memorial Building the first of the year.
Okay.
And
Because I did have a question on when walking was gonna start again, so.
yeah, we've just told everybody the first of the year, and I know the Legion was doing some work in there, and to get that trim done, they're doing the entryways, but their plan is to do them like one at a time, so those doors can be open.
Sure.
So we can either direct them what door they need to come in, and then everything will probably reopen after the first of the year, so
Okay.
January 2nd.
Okay.
Planning and zoning, we have 2 vacancies open to be on the board. Library now has 1 vacancy open. I am doing some double checking with David and with some issues of who can be on there and where it expands to. But one of the reasons why Washburn did go to a home rule charter and expanded it to the depth that it did was to include for some of these board appointments, not just city limits of people, to get people to serve on these boards. I'm trying to work with him to figure out what the boundaries are. He was in and out of the office all last week. So once I have that, then I'm going to put another ad back into the paper. But if you are interested, you can submit a letter of recommendation to be appointed. 2 vacancies are currently open on planning and zoning and 1 in the library.
Right.
And then Christmas gifts this year, I guess we kind of, I'll take the blame for this, went out of whack. We got sweatshirts for the office and our cleaning lady, and all the guys got coats that were embroidered with the city of Washburn. So,
Nice.
Came out the same as the Washburn Buck thing in the past.
yes,
Yeah,
and I
the
think it might
dollar
have been
amount,
just
so.
actually a little bit cheaper, but
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't entirely our fault. We got a little, during one of the HR meetings, we were like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And then we kind of just started talking about it, and then we kind of all just were like, okay, yeah, that's a great, done. You know, so apologies, that we should have brought it to the commission meeting and that sort of stuff.
Generally, that's what you have.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah, we just got
but
excited,
Keith, we appreciate you taking the blame.
whatever, sure, why not?
I'll take it.
Anything else, Chelsea?
No.
Adam? Okay, bills?
Okay, I would move that we would pay the bills.
Second. Any questions on the bills? Tim?
Yes.
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 Yes, next meeting, January 8th at 6 o'clock. That meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
You bet.